Welcome to the session. I am Ivan Papier and I will be your trainer today. Let me just also welcome Mr. Andre de Toit. He will be available on the chat. So if you have any questions, colleagues, feel free to type in the chat, and then Andre will then direct that questions to me. So there's Mr. Andre. Also, he just switched on his camera. Thank you so much, Andre, for being with us today. And yeah, so also I would like to say thank you to the Cape Winelands Education Department or the district, and then also especially to Yaku, the e-learning advisor there. Also want to thank him for this opportunity that we have today to have this wonderful session. Then also just want to mention that um, he's not here now. Yaku is not at the moment. He's not here. There are some of the other colleagues that somehow is in a session. Um, they're not supposed to be. So Yaku's just quickly in the background trying to get some of those colleagues over into the session. So we are expecting a few more colleagues to join us in today's session. Colleagues, today's session, before I go to that, maybe I should also say that, remind you to please fill out the Andre will just repost for those of you who came a bit later, just to complete the in session register. That's very important for you to do. That is how we can track your 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 attendance. So my name is Ivan once again, and I am also a teacher in Franschhoek. I'm teaching life orientation there, and just a little bit about why I am facilitating this training is because I fell in love with digital assessment a few years ago, and I've realized the value that digital assessment that it contributes to my teaching. So today is all about digital assessment and using Quizlet for content consolidation. And I like how this course, how the name of the course was structured, using Quizlet not to test, as we are so conditioned, we as teachers, I feel we are so conditioned to test knowledge, to have that summative assessment and think that thing stops there, but more to do consolidation. And I think we'll go into this now in a few seconds. But I think that the more we explore options to consolidate content, I'm sure that our learners will become better in understanding and knowing the knowledge and the content that we share with them. So today, colleagues, is all about going into digging deeper into Quizlet, but also to explore with content consolidation. You should see my screen there. Andre, can you just confirm for me, please? It is the welcome sign.
Hi, Evan. We can
Okay.
see your screen. I can see your screen. You can
Okay.
go ahead.
Thank you. I saw your WhatsApp now. Um,
All good.
thanks, man. Okay, so let's start. So, colleagues, I think the most important question to ask today is why are we doing this? Why are we using Quizlet? Now, Quizlet is used mostly. I'm sure for those of you maybe might have used it in the past for summative assessment, but the focus for today is to talk about the formative assessment part. And there you can see You can use it for summative, but for now, we will look at formative, using Quizlet as a formative assessment to build on content that we teach learners so that they can progress, so they can grow in the content that we teach them. Where summative assessment is more to test if they do understand the knowledge that we teach them, and that is the focus, I think, in today's time. A lot of teachers, myself included, mostly focus on the summative assessment and then get an understanding, a good or better understanding where learners are in terms of knowing knowledge. But our focus, it should actually be in determining whether they actually understand the content that we share with them, and that should be something that we systematically do while we are teaching them. So this is where digital assessment comes in for formative assessment. Okay, it's quick and easy. You can get an in real time. You can get a feel or understanding of where your learners are, and and how they are doing. What are the things that they do understand? What are the things that you as a teacher need to maybe just explain a bit more? And the summative assessment is mostly where we as teachers then go take the red pen and then just go over the scripts, and we know what pain that can be, especially this time of the year. So I don't know if some of you know the soup analogy. So informative assessment, in this analogy, formative assessment is seen when the chef tastes the soup and makes adjustment. Okay, you taste and you see, okay, what is lacking? Is there something too much in? What changes can we make? What adjustments can we make? And that is how formative assessment can be seen in this analogy as being the chef, okay, that is involved in the process of making something better, making something nice, making something to be enjoyed. And I think we should also challenge ourselves to get to that point of making the learning process enjoyable, if that is a word, an enjoyable experience. Whereas the summative assessment is when the diner tastes the soup, and the feedback can only happen only when the diner had ate the food and then gave feedback to the chef. And maybe then it's a bit too late to now go back and make changes and adjustments. And if you think about it, how many chefs do actually come to the table and say, listen here, um, give me some feedback, what can I do? And that is sometimes the same thing with us as colleagues, as teachers. We only get an understanding or feel of what we were testing only at the end of the summative assessment. Now, because of personal experiences with formative assessment, using digitizing the formative assessment, it's really nice to do it in this analogy. Um, Tasting it, seeing where are learners struggling, what can I do as a teacher, where can I improve. You can in real time see whether learners do understand the concepts or not. And it gives you an understanding, should you go to summative assessment, you can then have an idea of what you can test in your summative assessment. So why I liked the digital assessment, in this case Quizlet, is because it gives me a taste. It gives me a feel or understanding of what they know and where I can improve in teaching them better, or how they can also take responsibility for their teaching, and then eventually go to the summative assessment and see what you focus on when it comes to your assessments. So the broken feedback loop, colleagues, is what we want to look at today. So normally this is where we as teachers are. We build content knowledge. We basically give them the information. We somehow sort of dump it on them, and they need to absorb all that content. Okay, and it was earlier this no later this year or early term two when I spoke to some of the learners at grade 12 learners, and they said, "Sir, but it is too much. It's too much information. You came in now, you teaching us life orientation. You go out, then we have maths after that. Then we have to take in that information." And I realized at that moment, wow, we really do give so much information to our learners on a daily basis. And I think sometimes as teachers, we just need to sit back and just think about that. How much information did this learner or this child absorb in this in the school day, and then we expect them in our subject that we expect them to know all of those content, and my mind somehow changed and shifted towards relying more on on digital assessment. And then what we do is after we've built that content knowledge, we assess the content knowledge, and after the assessment, we there's feedback on the assessed knowledge, and that is it. Okay. And that is why we say this is the broken feedback loop, because what do? We teach, we get to the end of the term, and we do the assessment, and then what do? To be honest and fair, colleagues, do we always get to the point of giving feedback to the learner? um as many times we give feedback by writing a small note on the um, on the test or the project or the assignment. We give feedback there. But if you are teaching 150 learners in that group, how difficult will it be for you to give feedback to each and every one of them um, at that stage? So then it becomes difficult, and sometimes difficult for us to even then we make excuses and say, but I don't have the time, and there's so many admin that I have to do. Where do I get time to give proper feedback? Now, the feedback I think that we should talk about here today is the feedback for learners. Okay, is feedback for them to see, okay, what do I understand and what don't I understand? Because many times we give feedback, and then it's more for us to see what my learners understand and don't understand, and then we use that to go and build on that and better ourselves in that. But I feel that feedback needs to be given to them so that they can know what to do with that knowledge, and how they can better themselves and develop themselves. So the chef's feedback loop looks like the following. We know that a chef would add the ingredients and then taste the ingredients. I'm sure every chef would taste the ingredients, okay? And then determine the missing elements. And that's it. And that process continues and continues and continues, okay? You add ingredients, you taste, determine the missing elements. Okay, that is in the analogy of the chef. And I think, colleagues, if we think about this, we really sit down and we take this in and we think about it and make it our own. Where am I in this process? Okay, and where can I improve? Even if you are doing it, can I improve? And in the way I am adding the ingredients. How do I add the ingredients? Okay. Do I just, like I said, do that dumping on the learners and then just hope that they understand? Do I have a feel of a sense of understanding where my learners are in terms of that specific topic? Sometimes we give information and we hope after you've explained that information that they do grab what you were saying. So do we make that time to get an understanding? Sometimes we don't have that time, and then do we even if we determine the missing elements, do we go back and then see how we can implement it differently for them to eventually get all the elements that you are trying to carry over to them. Now, this is how I think the feedback loop should look like. Yes, we build our content knowledge, we give them the information, we teach them, um, and they must take it in, and then we assess the content knowledge. We see where they are, do they understand what we are trying to teach them. Feedback on assessed knowledge. Okay, do we get feedback? Okay, and then we add another part is to identify the missing knowledge, like um, in the previous one that we had about the chef. And now in the previous one we did not have this one. Remember, we only had um, we only had this. We only have those three: build content knowledge, we teach them, we assess, and we give feedback, and that's it. Okay, and then when learners come back after the holiday or before they go on holiday, they do the corrections, and we hope that they do make the time or take the time to better themselves. Okay, so just go there. So we won't want to be do like the chef is doing it. We want eventually to identify the missing knowledge, and once we assessed. Okay. Once we've assessed, then we should pick up on things. Okay. This is what happened. This is where my learners are lacking, and identify that. And once we have identified those things, we go back and we build again on what we've seen, and then the assessment starts again. So this is the process that I'm sure we need to I believe we need to follow constantly. Now you might tell me, but where do I get the time to do that? When will I ever get to this to this point of going back to build again, you know? And I think this is what we are trying to do today, um, is to change our mindset about assessment, you know, because we are so focused on this formative assessment. We're so focused on we need to test at the end of the term, or at the end of the year. We need to test there, but we need to be more focused on that process, and in this on this process, to constantly build, assess, feedback, identify what is missing, and take what was missing and build it in again, and then assess and then give feedback. And I'm sure then we are busy growing and developing our learners' cognitive ability. Um, so, colleagues, Quizlet, this is what we are here for. Please bear in mind that today is I almost want to say is not about you. Yes, we are here to learn new skills. We are here because obviously you as a teacher will have to use Quizlet. You will have to set up a set. Um, we'll get into it now, but you'll be the one that have to set it up and introduce your learners to Quizlet. Okay. Now, Quizlet, if you hear the sound Quizlet, it makes you think of a quiz, and sometimes people gets confused with this app, because if you know the app, you will understand why I'm saying this. Is that um, sometimes you confuse, like, okay, it should be a quiz. I'm expecting to work with quizzes, um, which is a different app that I'm not talking about. But you will see this is more learner focused. It is not just about quizzes. Okay, so it might cause a little bit of confusion, but we'll see now. If you haven't used this app yet, you will then see, okay, this is what Quizlet is all about. So how do we use this as teachers? Now, Quizlet is built on the idea of learning through key cards. Yes, key cards that many of our teachers, and especially in the language department, use for orals. Okay, Quizlet is built on that, on the idea of key cards. Okay, basic concepts are given descriptions, allowing a teacher to create a digital representation of a cue card. This is great when used on a whiteboard. So what basically is happening is that you are going to give them a term or a statement with a definition or a description. Okay, so you will have on the front, on a physical key card, you will have on the front, you will have the term or the term or the statement, and then if you flip it around, you will have the description or you will have the definition, which is exactly the same on Quizlet. Okay, it is built on that concept. But it is just made digital. Okay, so it is very nice when you use this on a whiteboard, because then it becomes even more interactive with your learners. So further gamification allows for greater engagement from students in class, and colleagues. Let's be honest, isn't this what we want? Hey, isn't it is so rewarding when you see your learners having fun with in the learning process. Okay, for me, whenever I see that in my classroom, whatever app it is, whether it is Kahoots or if it's Quizlet or if it's Nearpod or whatever digital assessment tool I'm using, to see those faces, it really warms my heart, because then I know learning is taking place, not just teaching, but learning, because we are all good teachers, we are all brilliant teachers. But the question we should ask ourselves constantly and remind ourselves on of is, how much learning is really taking place in my classroom? Okay. And for me, when learners give that, okay, that reaction, for me, I know, okay, learning is taking place. But the best feeling is whenever you see learners enjoying and getting something right. Um, that for me gives me joy, and that is essentially then achieved especially through the gamification that Quizlet allows your learners to engage in. And really, those learners, colleagues, I have also through experience seen so many of the more quiet learners in class, so many of them that are just sitting there in the corner, not really contributing to the lesson. I've seen so many of them engaging more in class conversations, because now they are in charge of their own learning, and that for me is very good when you see, okay, now I'm reaching everyone in the classroom, and not just the ones that the more clever ones in the classroom that quickly gets the concepts, quickly understand, quickly give the information back. So then you'll see their engagement even more in a gamified way. But but the nice thing is, you then accommodate also for those learners who are not so much engaging in your normal classes. Okay. Quizlet can be used to automatically generate basic sets, tests, sorry, to be used as homework or classwork to test whether key concepts have been learned. And this is essentially why we are using Quizlet. Okay, it is automatically generates a basic test. So I know some of us have in at the end of the week, maybe on a Friday, it's test day. Quizlet does that for you. You can do that in Quizlet, and you can give it to your learners as homework also, or classwork to go into the test at home. All right. So really, this is wonderful, a wonderful tool to use also to set up tests. Now, colleagues, this is this is all for you that you can do. um, there are more things that you can do in Quizlet, but this is how far it goes for us. Okay. But for the something you also need to take note of is that they are great learner tracking tools, okay, but only in the paid version. So you can, if you are really interested in tracking your learners their progress, then you will have to use the paid version, um, and then track their progress through that. But in the free version that we are going to talk about today, you don't have that option. Again, this is that, and that is why you need to make that mindset switch, that it is about the learner and not so much about me as a teacher, because we are so conditioned to, we want to see, are they making progress, where are they, but Quizlet is then helping them to, and I'm going to talk about it now, to essentially then take charge of their own learning. So, how learners use it? While individual learning starts as just a cue card, it becomes increasingly more engaging as learners can test uh, their own mastery. So it they now become engaged into the set of cue cards that is created for them, and they now test their own mastery. They can see exactly how much they know or how little they know, and where are the gaps, where they should improve. Isn't this what we want to achieve with our learners? Isn't this the point that we want to reach in with our learners, where they can identify immediately, like, okay, I still need to grow in that area. I still need to know more about that. So that is what Quizlet at the end of the day allows learners to do. Key concepts can be consolidated through recall and repetition. Now, the concepts that you would want to consolidate with them, okay, that will be done in Quizlet through recalling and also repetition. Um, for me myself, when I'm doing a set of cue cards, it becomes so frustrating, because sometimes it's a repetition over and over and over and again, and you constantly have to recall those information back. But I believe at that moment in that process, your brain is also at work. I feel that you are now doing the repetition and recall. You are building muscles in your brain, okay? And that is a thing that we as teachers also need to realize, that what do we want to achieve in Quizlet is for them. We are going to consolidate this through recall and repetition, and that's where the gamification comes in to make it a little bit more fun also. So, using the more challenging modes, we will be a clear indication if the knowledge has been mastered. And this is what I was talking about. That frustration, the more challenging modes in the app in Quizlet um, will then give me an idea how much of the knowledge do I actually know, or how little do um, I know. Then the level of success of the tool is largely determined by the learner's willingness to engage with the tool, and that's why I'm saying this app is more learner focused. Okay, it's more learner focused. Um, Currently, or in most cases, what do we do as teachers? We set up a test, an informal test. We set up 10 marks quickly, hand it out to the learners, and they need to recall that information, and they need to give it back to us by writing the test. And learners are so conditioned, and they are so used to us coming to them and giving them the test, and then testing themselves. But Quizlet is actually doing, actually in some ways doing the opposite of that, or it allows them to go on the other side of it, on the flip side of it. They can now engage with the tool on their own. and we look at it, we look at talk about it now in a second. We But the success of the usage of this, it is really determined by the learner's willingness to engage with the tool. Now, this is not to discourage any of you today and saying, but oh, okay, now I know my learners, they don't even want to engage with a test, or they don't want to engage with a, an activity in class. So why would they engage with this? This is where we come in, and we use our creativity, and by using our creativity and showing them the possibilities of the learning process, I'm sure then we will achieve that willingness, help learners to become more willing to engage with the tool. And then lastly, the Quizlet can facilitate autonomous learning through learner-centered Quizlet um, classes and sets. And this is what I was now talking about, is when learners are taking responsibility for their own learning. And that is what Quizlet is doing, because at the end of the day, they can now create their own classes. They can now create their own sets, and they can look at each other's sets that they have created and test whether they know each other's content. Okay, this is the point, I think, colleagues. This is where we as teachers eventually would want to be. I'm not just talking about using Quizlet or using digital assessment. I'm talking about, as a teacher, you would want your learners to take responsibility for their own learning, for their own process, learning process. And this is where Quizlet comes in, and Quizlet help that process in allowing learners in a digital way to take responsibility for that. And I'm sure, colleagues, all of us here are using technology. I'm sure all of us here are interested in using technology. And this is where I believe my motto is that technology must make my life easier. In teaching, I believe I believe that it should make my life easier. So the nice thing about Quizlet, um, at the end of the day, the learners, they themselves will have to take responsibility for what they are learning. Okay. And we as the teachers, I just want to end off here with us. We as the teachers, we need to learn to somehow just step back, and just allow learners to go through their learning process. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that wants to control the learning process. I control the learning process mostly in the class, because you're the teacher, you're the one in charge in the classroom. But when it comes to digital assessment, when it comes to this process, they are more in charge, because they're growing up with this technology, and we that today that's here, we need to move with them in that learning process. I'm not going to ask you to scan this. Um, but what this QR code is an example. If you have your cell phone with you in front of you, you're more than welcome to do that, just to get a feel um, of how to use Quizlet. This is a Quizlet that was set up by Yaku from the district, and he set up a set of cue cards. And there you can explore with it. And this is also a nice way to give your learners and saying, here's the QR code, scan it with your cell phone, and you can play it. But you need the app. Or am I wrong? No, you don't actually don't need the app to do it. Yeah, you don't need the app on your cell phone to do it, because I don't have the app on my cell phone, and last night I've done it. Yes, yes. So you can scan it and then play around with it. So let's just go into Quizlet now. How do I log into Quizlet? Okay, let me just go into use an account that I haven't used yet. Okay. So once you are in your in your profile, your Google profile, you can search Quizlet.com, um, and it will take you to this page. Now, remember, you are going to set up as a teacher. You will have to go and set this up. So what you can do is you can get started. Yeah, I'm a teacher. Or if you are a parent and you, especially we as teachers, if you're a parent, you can also do this with your child. Also, if you have the time to do that, or you can log in. Okay. Now I like to follow this route, log in, and because I have my Google account, this is the nice thing is that I can sign in with my Google account or with my Facebook account, and also if you are using Apple, you can log in with your Apple account. Good. So you will then log in with your Google account, or I will log in with my Google account. Okay. Um, Now, because this is a new account, maybe those of you who haven't signed into Quizlet before, this is what you will then, this is what your screen will also look like, and the things that you will have to fill in. Um, Let me just see, go through that process. Doo-doo-doo. And now I'm exposing my age. Wait, it can't be that far away. Okay. So then you can choose a username for yourself. You can erase that if you want to. If not, you can leave it as is. And then you can register and saying I'm a teacher. So then that means that Quizlet will then eventually sign your account up as a teacher and give you all the information needed, or the abilities needed to use it from a teacher's point of view. Okay. I want to receive news, promotional emails, updates, and tips on how to use Quizlet. I don't want that because otherwise my inbox will be flooded with information from Quizlet. So I will sign up. Good. And then you will be in your Quizlet account, and then this will be your first pop-up. It says, welcome to Quizlet. Let's get you started. What class are you teaching? So now you can create yourself a class. I'm not going to do it now because I want to show you other features also in Quizlet. So this is how your profile essentially will look like. So if you click on the home button, it will take you to this page where you are currently we are currently on. Okay. Your library is all the sets that you have created. Okay, this is one of the sets that I searched for, and I'm going to show you how that works. You can create folders, you can create classrooms or classes in Quizlet. Okay, so if you colleagues, first of and foremost, before you're thinking of doing this digital assessment, if the option is available to search for content, please do yourself a favor in searching for content first. Because the nice thing about this is that um, you can use someone else's content that that person already created and made available to everybody in Quizlet to use. So you can just go to the search box up there, and whatever it is that you want to search. So, for instance, it is maths. You can search it there, and then it should give you the um, all the math sets that was created by people using Quizlet. Um, there we go. Um, there we go. So now you can go through through the search that you've launched. Yeah, if you look here on the left navigation, you can search for things that are free. We don't want to pay for anything, so let's filter it even more. We want free sets. The type of sets, the type, it should be sets or study guides or users class. I want sets. Okay, I'm just looking for sets today, and then created by all, including plus user, meaning people that pay using a paid account, a teacher or verified creator. These are all the sets that have been created. Now you can scroll through it and you can look and see, oh, okay, which of these are on the level of my learners. Okay. Let's take, for instance, these operations signs. Okay, if you click on it, okay, so now it will take you to the set that you've selected. Okay, now remember, Quizlet, like I said earlier, Quizlet is built on the cue cards. So now they say click card to see definition. So now we click on the card, and now we see the definition. Okay, so division is out of, goes into how many times over in the quotient. Okay, click on it again, and then you can see again what is a term. So you can the whole time click on it, okay, and then it will flip over. Then if you want to go to the next one, if you just scroll down here at the bottom, there's an arrow that goes to the right. That means we can go to the next one, and the next one is multiply. Click on it. Okay, times, by, multiplication, product, lots of. Okay, you can all time study this. Add, plus, and addition, sum, increase, total, and so you can go through all of them. Okay, in this case, you can see at the bottom we are at 8 out of 23. Okay, so that means there are 23 sets. I'm not 23 sets, 23 cue cards that have been created here just to test learners' knowledge. And these are concepts that you can go through. Okay, ooh, what did I click now? Hopefully that's not going to take me somewhere that I don't want to be. Okay, so there's a nice big set of cue cards that you can use. And then what you can do is, because this is created by, I hope I'm saying it correctly, Malcode or whatever. This is his creation. You can add the set to a class or a folder, or you can customize this one, or you can share it. What is this one? You can get information on it, and there's a lot of options that you can use. Um, let's just click on add set to class. I just quickly want to click on customize and see um, if we can customize this to our yes. If you click on customize, then maybe you want to change this to maths, and then maybe say to the title grade 8. You want to focus on the grade 8. um, and then you can use what this person has created. You can go down, and then you can just see if there are things that you maybe did not do with them yet. You can always just go and delete. Let's take one. Let's take indices. Let's say, for instance, you haven't done this one yet. You can just go to the bin and just click on it, and it will delete it. I'm now going to show you how we can create a set. I'm just showing you the abilities of when you use someone else's cue cards or someone else's sets, and then you can just create and make it your own. Okay, if you want to add another cue card here, you can do that. Once I'm happy, I can click create, and now um, it is mine. So they say, hey, nice study set, and I can add it to a class. Okay. Um, so now this is the ability that you have. Okay. Um, maybe we should go through this one just to see what this offers us. If you look here on the left in navigation, if you click on the study section, let me just quickly go back. This is a study section. This is where you study, and who's gonna study? The learners. So this is why we are saying that this becomes more focused on the learner. It's more learner centered because this section, yes, they can play, they can study here, but then with the playing side, this is where you can allow them to match, or they can even match on their own and use gravity. Okay, but the flashcards is where they go through all the stuff. Okay, flip the cue cards, study. Okay, this is the study process. If you can, here on top, just quickly want to click on it. Let's take add. Click on the icon, the sound icon here. It will also read the learner what it is. Okay, and if you look here on the left hand side, you can see the progress. It's very helpful so that learners can also track their progress while they are studying. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of them. um, Once I'm done, it's the last one. Nice work. Just you just studied 22 terms. The learner can now decide, do they want to start over or not. If they don't want to start over, they can just go back, or they can just go down at the bottom. They want to do it over, but maybe they want to shuffle it. Okay. Uh, Remember, at this stage, they are taking charge of their own learning. So this is where they are busy. And when you are doing the digital assessment, when you are doing the Quizlet with them now, at this stage, you are just observing and facilitating in class. When a learner's got a question, sir, ma'am, what is this button for? What does that stand for? What if I click on it? What? You are just a facilitator. Okay. And now the studying is taking place. Okay. So let's go back. That is what they can do there. What does the learn option allow us to do? Um, the learn option says welcome to learn, a popular way to learn and practice on Quizlet. How it works. Learn the material with different types of questions, focus on small grouping of terms each round, and then customize your options to fit your needs. Let's start learning. Okay, so what does this do? They give us a definition, and now we need to. So this is your multiple choice questions. Okay, so plus, add, addition, sum, that is add, and now we have a quiz. Okay, take away, take, subtract, less. I think that's minus. Maths that use letters or symbols, colleagues. I think that one is algebra. So I haven't gone through this one yet. This is the first time I see it. So this is a nice thing. Learners can now engage with this and test um, their understanding. Okay, let's say for instance this is times, this must be multiply. Let's say equation, then not quite, learn on. So that means now they um, can continue, and somewhere along the line they will be asked that question again. Okay, remember we talked about recall and repetition. This is what Quizlet is now doing. Okay, let's go out here. That is the learn option. The right option is, remember in earlier we spoke about when they are, this is the more challenging part because that means they will have to type the answers out. So to multiply out the brackets in an expression. Ooh, what is this? I don't know. I haven't studied that now. So um, I don't know. Let's say multiply. No, it's not that one. Answer. Study this one. So now Quiz is saying, I must study this one. I don't know what. So that is the distributive law. Okay. Sure. It's testing my knowledge now, eh? Press any key to continue. And now you can go on. This is where you read they are going to read the definition and then they will have to type in the answer. Um, I'm not gonna. Oh, if the learners don't know how to what the answer is, they can click on don't know, and then it will give them the answer, and then type the term, and in this case it is term. um it is term. Oh, factor. Sorry, it is factor. Now I went to the next one. You just say don't know, whole number. So someone might ask, but why must I type it there? Okay, this is a studying process. Okay, it is a learner taking charge of their own studying. Angles are measured in I don't know, degrees. Okay, so this is not where the learner is going to say, oh, okay, and then just go on. No, they will have to answer it even they got it wrong. I think this is maths that use, this is algebra. Say,
Good. Evan.
yes,
Evan, sorry to disturb you.
no,
Um, I just want to. There's a little question there in the chat room,
yeah,
and I think I don't want to answer it. I think you can, uh, because you're on it now. Is
mm-hmm.
there a similar app in Afrikaans, or can you change the language? Um,
Okay,
yes, thank you.
okay, thanks, Andre. Yes, um you can definitely set your Quizlet or your sets up in Afrikaans. I'll show you ones that I've done, and then you need to select the language Afrikaans just to personalize it. And I think for people to search your sets, language specific. But yes, you can set up your sets in Afrikaans. That is what I'm doing because I'm teaching English and Afrikaans learners. I hope I'm answering your question there, Andre, in the chat maybe. Yeah, I hope I am. But yes, you can definitely set it up in Afrikaans. I'll show you now when we are going to create a set from scratch.
Evan, Garth is happy with the answer. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Andre. Thanks, Garth. Okay, so this you get the idea, and then again on the left side, it tells the learner exactly how many is remaining, how many the learner got incorrect, and which how many they got correct. And this obviously, colleagues, um, definitely tells will indicate to the learner how much studying I still need to do. Okay, how much studying on this at this stage on this profile. Remember, if you don't have the paid version, you won't have you as the teacher won't be able to track this. Okay, you won't be able to, but once you buy the, I'm not advocating here to go and buy it, I'm just saying the possibilities then um, with a paid version is then you can track it. Okay, so the writing is a little bit more challenging, but learners you'll maybe see learners will more will rather than just do the flashcards by studying first and do the learning and maybe do this the maybe the spelling or do the games first, and then they will go take the test or do the writing because it takes time for them to eventually know all the terms and definitions. Let's see what spelling allows us. If you spell, it's simple. Okay, to cancel common factors or collect like terms. What is that? I don't know. Um, hmm, uh, okay. So you click on the sound on the sound icon, and then it will say simplified. Is that right? No, amplify. Okay, and then enter. Correct. And so, okay, now this one is add. So you have to listen to what the sound, um, what what is it? The person on the other side, the computer is saying, and then you can then just add it in, and it, and so you can listen to all what is being said here. But remember, the nice thing is that they give us all the definitions at the bottom. Okay. Garth, I'm not so sure about the Afrikaans at this stage. I haven't used, I haven't used it like in such a way to see whether the Afrikaans, whether the computer will pick up the Afrikaans. I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea for you to go and check. Um, but once again, yeah, the learners will be able to see how far they are getting. And then colleagues, the test. They can take a test if they want to. Okay. How nice is this? How nice is this? So Quizlet will create a test in different ways. Okay. Here you have the 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 answers that you must type out. Okay. Write. Okay. Write the terms. And here we have some matching. And here we have some multiple choice questions, some true or false questions. And then once they have gone through the whole test, they can then check their answers. I just quickly want to do one just to show you maybe the last two there. When terms are added or subtracted with an equal sign, it is called an expression. Is that correct? No, that isn't. When terms are added or subtracted with no equal sign. Yes, that's true. Let's just quickly check. Let's go down to the bottom. Yes, that is true. So it will tell you whether it's true or false. But also, um, if you have it incorrect, it will give you the right answers here also. So some teachers might say, but no, it shouldn't give them the right answers. They must know. Remember, colleagues, this, like I said, it is not about us how we want this to be done. This is for them because obviously what is going to happen now? They are going to say, oh, okay, I got this one wrong. I got this wrong. So because of repetition, they're now going to take this test again and then they will remember later on, okay, the first five questions that I was right, the written questions, I got that right. I know that is right. And then the ones that they got wrong, they will later on say, okay, I must remember this because that one is a term, that one is a factor, that one is, and so you can go on. It's about the learners. Okay. And at the bottom, remember, this is not you creating a new test. This is them because you set up the set of the sets. You set it up, but they are the ones that is in control of the sets. What they now do with the sets. So now they can create new tests, and they can take the test over and over and over and over and over again. Just mind the ads here on Quizlet. It seems everybody wants to make their bit of money. I just want to go out here. Okay, this is quite irritating. Anyway, let's just go back. So that is what this is the studying part. Okay, this is the studying part, hardcore studying. And the very nice thing is that Quizlet is, I want to say, versatile or diverse, or it gives you more than one option to study. Okay, it challenges learners on different ways how to study for the set that is given to them. Um, the more nicer part, um, the gamification section is here. Okay, the first one is match, and this is where we do it. This is where the competition comes in. If you haven't used Quizlet in a gamified way yet, I challenge you to go and do that and just see the facial expressions of those students when they are challenging one another to to get a better score. So it explains to the learners exactly what to do. Drag corresponding items onto each other to make them disappear. So now exactly the learners will know they need to drag those corresponding items that are the same onto each other, and then it will disappear. So let's see. Start game. Quizlet will throw it there, and look what's happening here on the left hand side. The time is running. Okay, so the person that did this the quickest will obviously be um, on top. But what do many learners do? They just take and see how which one is it. Look here, I'm not even looking at what the answer should be. I'm just throwing it here on each other. Okay, and that is not what you want your learners to do eventually, because but that is how competitive it becomes. Okay, you got first place and unlock the match badge. Okay, I did this in 34.1 seconds. Now when your learners are signed into Quizlet, okay, it will track them. If they're not signed into Quizlet, it will not track them, meaning you won't be able to see the names. Okay, you won't be able to see the names. Um, of them, because they're not signed in with the Google account or Apple or whatever platform they're making use of. So they can play again. And this is how, if they want to improve their time, they can then do that. It will show them the best time, and it will just throw them whatever whatever is in the set. Now, eventually, when we get to this point, we would hope that by now they um, they know the content, okay? Because let's just go back. They went through this whole study section, okay? They've done the flashcards, they've done the learning, they've done the writing part, they've done the spelling, they've done this the test, okay? Now we do the more fun part, okay? We do the fun part. Um, we can do the matching, and or we can do gravity. Now gravity. Let me show you what gravity before I explain it. So protect the planet from incoming asteroids. So we don't want these things to fall on the planet, because then it's going to cause chaos. Um, so it gives them the sense of responsibility towards the planet, and they need to, before I get started, they need to make sure that these things are not dropping on the planet by making use of the knowledge that they've gained through the studying. So if you click on it, if you click on start game, oh, let me just go back quickly. I just want to show you that before we start the game. Click on gravity, get started. You have the learner have the option to the study start. It must be everything or the start. If they have start some of the sets. Let me just go back. I don't want to get started. Oh yeah, and they can select the level of difficulty. They can select it to be easy, medium, or they can make it hard. Obviously, we would want to start with easy and then progress to medium and then hard. Okay, this is very important. I want to show you this. This is now currently by default answer with the definition. Now let's go. Let's see and start the game. Term. You need to keep the definition of a term. Okay, so that thing is falling, so you need to be quick here in your typing. Okay, and enter. Enter. It doesn't work. Enter, and there that asteroid is falling on the planet. So the prompt there, term, it gives you the correct answer, a number or pro numeral by themselves, or multiplied together, separated by plus or minus signs. Now let's be practical here, and how practical is it to type out this whole definition? Okay, so what you want to do in this case, um is to go back, and when you do the gravity, is to, when you get to this point here, is to change the setting to term. Okay, or you can do it random, meaning it will give you both. Click on term, and then let's go. So now the terms will be given: maths, that's use letters, symbol, algebra. To be quick. Then another one, a number that has only two factors. Oh, what's it? Prime number. Yes, I'm gonna. Okay, so this becomes very competitive. You can even pause it if there's an interruption. The learners can pause and then continue later or resume then. So this is this is the nice part of it. So just make sure whenever you give them that to know mention to them that they need to do it like that. Or if they, like, I've done it once with my learners, I've done the gravity with them. You need to improvise as you go along. What I've done with them is I've given them the expressions, and then they had like two times two, and then they had to insert um, the answer in here. So I would say 2 times 2, and they will have to say 4. Minus 2 times 2, they will have to say minus 4. Type it in here. So just a tip or a hint how you can set the sets up in here. Okay. Good. So now you can also go live. When you go live, I'm not going into this now, but when you go live, then the learners can compete with one another in a live session. This is very nice to do it in class, and it becomes very competitive in class. Okay, you just scroll down. um, this is the set that I took from this other creator, and I made it myself, my own. Um, and then you can then go and you can edit and change however you want to. Okay, good. Now let's create our own set. And colleagues, always very important whenever you are going to create any content for digital assessment is to have it planned out. Know what you want to assess and get that information ready, whether it's written out on a piece of paper or whether it is on a Word document typed out. Get to the planning first and see what is it that I want to do. Okay. And um and 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 then you can do that. It will make your life so much easier when you beforehand know what it is that you want to test. Let me just quickly see a file that I want to something that I want to use. um just mind this, that's on my screen now. It's one of the projects. um oh, there we go. This is the set that I have set up for my. This is what I want to test. Now, I'm going to keep this just aside and I just want to go back to where we are now. Okay, here we are. So let's go and create a set. So you will obviously then click on create and then study set. Now, we just go out here. These pop-ups. Just close this down. Um, I'm sure most of our stuff is on. We have all our notes together and in one place, and these many of these platforms make it easy for us to, or make our lives easier to import this information here. Before we get to that, first of all, we need to give our set a name or title. And mine is going to be for now study financing. It's part of the grade 10 Hello curriculum. And then the description, I'll just say grade 10 Hello. Okay. Now, if you scroll down, here you can start typing. Here you can insert the term and you can insert the definition. Okay. You insert the term there. Let's say, for instance, bursary. And look what's happening. I've typed in the word bursary. And then Quizlet is asking me, give me 3 options there. Bursary grant, scholarship. I want this bursary. What is happening this side? It gives me an option to choose from. Um, this means that people in Quizlet have set up things similar to what I'm looking for. So you can then use what is there. If one of these things is what I want to insert as a definition, then I can click on it. But in this case, this is not what I want, so I will use my own. I'll type mine in here. Let's for instance scroll down and click on another one. Let's say I think there will be more scholarships. There is a scholarship. Maybe let's see what we have available here. The definition. Maybe I can use that one, but it's not. You get the idea. Okay. You can play around with it, especially English. English home language or English the subject English. There's many there's a lot of sets created that you can use here, and then you'll find yourself using other people's stuff instead of setting up your own. But that's fine. We're collaborating here. Okay. But what I want to show you here, colleagues, is that you can import this. I just quickly want to see where I have saved this. Um, Let me just save it on the desktop. You see, planning, very important. Of course, let's set. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to import that document. So I'm going to click here on import. You can import from Word, Excel, or Google Docs. Click on that. Now, obviously, the format is very important, how you import. So import your data, copy and paste your data here from Word, Excel, Google Docs, etc. So I'm going to go back to my file. Now, this is the term. This is the definition. There's my term and there's my definition. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of them. I'm going to copy them and then I'm going to paste them in this space here. So that means the first word, the first definition, second word, second definition. So I'm just going to paste it in there and see what is happening. Okay, just have a look at what's happening at the bottom. Okay, does it look right? Bursary, an amount of money given to needy students. Let's see here. Oh, okay, that's correct. Now, why did it automatically appear in my preview section here? Now, I want to look closely at this. When I set up this in my Word document, I actually put in a tab between each, if you can look here, between each word or um, term and definition. So I've put in a tab between them and I'm indicating this on my in my Quizlet. Just here at the bottom between term and definition there's a tab. Okay, if it is that between it was a comma, that means I will take away the tab and I'll put in a comma and I'll have to change this to comma. You see how it's changing at the bottom. Let me take off away the second one because this is set on comma now. If you look here at the bottom, it doesn't look right. Okay, now let's just change between at the student loan. Take away the tab because this is set on comma. Put in a comma there. Immediately it will be changed. Okay, so but I have inserted tabs between mine on Word already. I've preset it like that. So Quizlet will then pick it up like that. Okay. Between cards, there's a new line, um, meaning there's a line between them. So you can set it up and personalize it. And once you're happy with it, okay, this is just your preview site, and it asks you or indicates to me that there are only 4 cards. How many am I testing? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I am happy. So then I'm going to remember this big blue button here. I'm going to import that. And now, easy as pie, I did not going didn't type this out at all. I've done it in Word because I have it in my notes already, and I imported it. Of course, if there is any other cards, if I want to add a, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this is just another one. I can delete that one. If I want to add a card, go to the bottom, navigate to the bottom and click add card, and then obviously you can add one if you want to add another one there. Okay. Of course, if you, let me just delete that one. Yeah. You can also, you have the option, not the option, you are allowed in Quizlet to also insert some extra things, very nice features, like you can underline, not underline, come on, why is this thing taking so long? You can, I think that's highlight, not highlight, change the color of the font, um, of the words. You can insert, add a voice note, okay, but like as you can see on the screen, you will have to pay a monthly fee of 65 rand, almost 66 rand a month to use that function. So there's a lot of functions that you can use, but that sign that says teacher indicates to us that that's a paid version that we will have to use. Okay, I'm done. I'm happy. Um, you can upload a picture here for each cue card. I like using pictures because it helps learners identify better with the explanation or the definitions or descriptions. So because this is bursary, Quizlet is so cool, so nice. It picks up the term and a word that I will then, maybe a picture that I will use is that one. So those are pictures that will come up with um, on my on the set whenever they are studying. Okay, so you can go and look for images. Oh, let's not do that. So there's no image for learnership or upload from your own image, but you'll have to pay to do that. So it's quite limited, this one, but it's 100% fine. It's nice to work with it. We are happy with what it is. um, some of you not knowing about this function here that I'll show you now. If you create, it will ask you to do the following. Ooh. Let's go and edit. This is not what I want. Actually, I wanted to show you the mistakes that one make. Not accidentally. I deliberately made that now. Let's edit this. I want to show you again. This is what I'm. Sometimes we don't choose a language for, and this is Garth. What I was trying to explain. Um, Sometimes we forget to insert a language, but Quizlet will also detect the language. But yeah, especially if, say for instance, if you're using Afrikaans and it might not maybe detect your language, you can click here on the first cue card and then just click on English, and then you can go down here, you can go search for language, and yes, Afrikaans is also there. No? So if you want to do that, I think Xhosa is also in here. Just want to go down. Um, Maybe it is more here at the bottom. There we go. So if it is that you are setting a Xhosa set, you can also do that. So remember to go and set your language. By default, this was my English because I assume Quizlet picked it up by default, and then you can create. It's gonna be set, say done now. Um, Let me just quickly, I want to show you the pop-up that happens after that. Okay, but this is the set now. Okay, this is the set. Okay, only 4 cue cards, and now the learners can go through that process what it is that I wanted to show you now. It is okay, but we can do it through creating a class. This is how you create a class. You go to create class, and now you can create interclass name or course or teacher. Let's say grade 10 life orientation. Then you can select these options or deselect this. Allow class members to add and remove sets. If you're okay with it, you can leave it as is because it will be this, but as a default. Or allow class members to invite new members. If you okay with that, you can do that. And then you need to select the school. Now, the first time when I created a set, um, it did not pick up my school. Um, that means that at that stage, no one from my school registered our school on Quizlet at that time. But when I'm typing out in my school, it will pick it up. Okay, because there are sets created in Quizlet that or classes created in Quizlet from my school. Okay, so I'm sure this is just Quizlet's way of tracking where in the world people are using the app or whatever, but it personalizes it very much and very nice. If not, then you can add your own here. If it's not there, add your own. But there my school is, and I can create a class. Okay, I can create a class there. Now this is my grade 10 class, and all my grade 10 learners will be added in here. So now I don't have any sets in my class. Okay, so create a study set or add an existing one. I'm gonna add one, add a study set, and see where I can find it. Ah, there it is. I have two. I have maths and I have study financing. I'm gonna click on the plus sign, and it will be added to this classroom. Okay, so now the content is there. Content is in the classroom, but I need members. Okay, now you can also add sets from here, and then you can add members here. Click on that. Now you can insert the email accounts in here. Okay, to invite members to this class, add a Quizlet username or emails. If they have a Quizlet username, you can use that, or emails below, separate by commas or line breaks. These are very important instructions to take note of. Okay, when you do insert them there, just want to demonstrate that what they are saying there. At Gmail is my personal one, gmail.com. Oh, and then a comma, and then I want to include my other one, wct.info. Okay, then you can invite your learners to this class. Okay, this is a okay, this is what I want to show you, colleagues. If your school is making use of, if your school is registered on Google, have a Google workspace, there's a lot of advantages that you have with using an account like that. This one that I'm using now is my school's one. We do have Google domain. Um, then you have this option by inviting, by linking it to a Google Classroom. So if you are making use of Google Classroom, um, in in your school, you can invite learners to this classroom through existing classes in Google Classroom. You can do that. But for many of us today here might be using a normal Google account that you've set up for personal usage. It won't give you that option to invite learners from Google Classroom to this classroom in Quizlet. So just take note of that whenever you're going to set up. Um, Whenever you want to do that, make sure that if you want to um, invite learners from Google Classroom, you need to have an account that has a Google Workspace where where you are registered on that like that. Okay, so this is a class that you've created. You can add a folder and also you can edit your classroom. There's notifications in this classroom, and this is just to personalize and to give more structure to your Quizlet. Okay. Let me just quickly go to one of these Quizlets. I just quickly want to show you something. Share. Okay. Once you've created a quiz, a study set, okay, here at the bottom, you can click on share. This is very important. You can click on share. You can email someone um, the link of the set, or you can share it by inserting, sending an email, or you can click on copy. No? You can click on copy this link, yeah, and then you can also share it with Google Classroom, but many won't have this option. Okay, don't stress about it. Um, that is just when you have a Google Workspace. And these are the other options. You can share it on MS Teams also. For today's purposes, colleagues, we really would want to see the evidence of learning from your side. We really would want to see what you have created. So please do. Andre is going to submit the link that you are going to share your study set with us. Okay. So Andre will post it in the chat. Please do get that. Click on the link and open it on your side. Save it as a bookmark on your side. Once you are done with creating your nice study set, um, please share it with us. Okay, and that is how you're going to share that is once you've created your study set, then you at the bottom click on share and then copy the link. And once you've copied the link, you can just paste the link of that specific study set into the Google form that was just now shared with you, and then we have your evidence of learning. Colleagues, I